that obviously I was expecting to be here. He will be here, hopefully. The road has been intense. It's coming all the way from Victoria Island, that's Aja side. And due to the roadblock, they were able to circumnavigate other routes. That area has been terrible. Nigerians have been lamenting being in traffic for hours. Like, seriously, for hours. Imagine taking from Victoria Island to Ikoyi, staying in traffic for 2 or 3 hours. I really don't know how people who have their offices located there will cope this period, because they have to, I think the employees or the employers have to look for another means through which staff can regulate or do what you call a shift, because to be in that kind of traffic for 5 days in a week, going and returning, is mentally debilitating and very depressing. So, Lagosians who are in that particular situation, I am so sorry. I sincerely do apologize, specifically for those who work on the island and then reside on the mainland. It's like you're going to work, you'll be trapped, and returning, you will also be trapped. So, I am saying sorry. I do hope that the work along that axis is completed as soon as possible. And alternative routes are usually not as big, so that's why you have pressure on the alternative routes. I will not be surprised that by tomorrow or next tomorrow, car owners will no longer go with their cars. They may have to use alternative means of transportation, so not to be stuck and have to buy petrol. As you know, there is a tendency that petrol will definitely increase due to where they say they're no longer going to be selling in naira anymore. They're reverting to the dollar, and so it's not going to be funny this time. So people will have to look for alternatives through which they will transport themselves to their various work locations. I trust Nigerians. God, He has always been our strength, and He will continue to help us through this ordeal. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Evening Rush. Once again, my name is Esther Wachiku, and what are the hot topics today? What are the hot topics today? Well, in Edo State, the tribunal there has dismissed Action Alliance petition affirming Okpebolo as the governor. And another interesting situation to consider is the fact that a police officer in Kaduna has threatened a reprisal attack on southerners in the north because of what happened in Uromi. A particular police officer whose name is Hadeina Husseini Dantaki has threatened reprisal attack on southerners living in northern Nigeria. Dantaki's comment came in response to the killing of the 16 northerners in Uromi, Edo State. Meanwhile, Dantaki, via his Facebook post, swore in the name of God, declaring that northerners in the north must take action against southerners. I don't understand. The DSS has taken swift reaction and swift action into this. In fact, today, they have apprehended 2 main suspects, aside from other suspects that they have taken, who they think were involved in the brutal killing in Edo State. 2 main suspects, and according to what the DSS has said, they have taken them based on the Inspector General of Police's order. They'll be taken to Abuja. Monday Okpebolo has gone to visit the Kano State Governor to commiserate with him and condole with him for the unfortunate incident that took place. And compensation measures are also on ground. So what is this call for reprisal when you already know the situation? I know that the Edo State situation will be in the news for quite a while. And beyond that, there have been attacks in Jos, Plateau State as well. It's not just in Plateau, even Benue. Apparently, Nigerians in diaspora are actually calling the federal government to please save them, because it seems like there is an agenda to wipe them off, and they're holding a protest saying that they can no longer allow this kind of outrage to continue on their citizens, that no citizen is more superior than the other. And police operatives have not really said anything as regards to precisely what that means. And in this particular situation, as the country is tense, the president has jetted off to Paris, France, for 2 weeks. The presidency said it's a working visit. That's what the presidency said, that it's a working visit for this 2 weeks. He'll be engaging with his team. He'll be, in communication with them, telling them what to do, how they're supposed to go, what they're supposed to go with. And Nigerians are saying, seriously? You're going to be out of the country for 2 weeks when we're going through stuff, like serious stuff? Okay. If you say it's a working visit and you want to do it from the comfort in France, go ahead, no problem. Obviously, you trust your team to ensure that things go appropriately, isn't it? Well, the political scenario in Nigeria is obviously not off the table, as a lot of Nigerians are looking ahead to 2027. Precisely, the political bureaucrats anyway. The generality of the population is thinking of how to survive, how to see tomorrow, how to feed, where to live, how to ensure that their children don't, so everyone is looking for how to survive daily. It's the political bureaucrats who are signing off for 2027, right? We'll come to that in that process, because we want to look at the interview that the 2023 presidential candidate of Labour Party had with a monitored television program yesterday evening, and quite a lot of details were actually exculpated from that conversation. We will be looking into it in the course of the program this evening, and try to put things in perspective in pari passu, because it's funny, and you would wonder why the current administration would take it an appointed new persons. Now, you know that the special advisor to the president on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, he has shed more light on the decision of President Bola Tinubu to appoint a new group chief executive officer, that is GCEO, Group Chief Executive Officer and Board for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Now, speaking via a statement on also extended to the entire oil and gas industry, hence the strategic move by President Tinubu to rescue the situation. He submitted that the reconstitution of the board of NNPCL is apt, timely, and information and strategy by Onanuga confirmed that the president invoked his powers under sections 59 subsection 2 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 to carry out the leadership overhaul, which is aimed at making NNPC more commercially viable and efficient. So, in the move to strengthen the leadership, Bayo Ojulari, a seasoned oil and gas professional, has been appointed as a new GCEO of NNPC. He is to replace Kyari, whose tenure has been marked by the challenges the country's oil sector continues to face. Additionally, Ahmadu Musa Kida has been appointed as a new non-executive chairman, taking over from Pius Akinyelure. As part of the restructuring, 6 non-executive directors representing each of Nigeria's geopolitical zones have been appointed to the NNPC board. Now, this particular 6 non-executive directors, which represents each of Nigeria's geopolitical zones that were appointed, a lot of Nigerians have reacted and said that the board is overflooded from a particular region, which is the southwest. And a lot of Nigerians are saying, okay, the president is looking at technocrats, persons who have been in the industry working it. Someone like Bayo, right? Ojulari has been working in Shell for the past 20 years. So these are persons who understand how these things go. So beyond looking at the ethnic group they belong to or the region they belong to, what about their capacity to deliver? And I remember speaking with my analyst this evening, Barrister Ferdinand Zako. And Barrister Ferdinand Zako said where the federal character when it comes to appointments at the national level is completely lopsided, imbalanced, and in favor of certain other regions, excluding the southeast, and that the imbalance has become so glaring that nobody cares anymore. We'll be looking into that as well. Is it about capacity or is it about the region that the person comes from? If you try to put in persons just because you want to represent federal character and they're not competent enough to deliver with whatever profile or portfolio they're given, then what happens? But then at the same time, if we're saying federal character would agree to a 4-year term and you will not campaign for the second term, because most of these politicians want to do 2 terms. So there are calls that, okay, if Peter Obi would agree, since this is still the tenure for the South, if Peter Obi would agree to just go for 4 years, right, they would show their overwhelming support. Others have said, let him, have a partnership with Atiku Abubakar if they want to stage a better comeback and upstage the APC in 2027. There are a lot of political strategy that is being actually dished out towards Peter Obi to see how if he intends to, go again in 2027. But Peter Obi has said he's still with the Labour Party. So any calls for coalition with any political party, he hasn't disclosed yet. But he said he's still with the Labour Party. According to him, he feels that anybody who knows what to do from day one, that 2 years is enough for some of the gains of their policies to be experienced by Nigerians. All right, I don't want to explain everything because I want to introduce my guest in the studio, okay? Now, in that particular regard, the APC too reacted and they called Peter Obi, he's suffering from election failure, induced hangover, that he should tame his bloated imagination. This is the APC's reaction to Peter Obi. Daniel Bwala has also called Peter Obi and said that he is still reeling from losing the 2023 general elections. And the big question is this your response to an opponent? Don't you think you should do a self-reflection on some of the pointers he has raised out that you could work on and see how you could work on it, to better your administration? And according to Peter Obi, he said, if you want people to vote for you in 2020 like that this time around, well, these are the issues we'll be delving into. Also, the economic factor that is Nigeria at this time and what Nigerians are going through in the midst of insecurity, no job opportunities. You're also having access to food items. The food items are available for extremely expensive, accommodation issues and all whatnot. If all the sectors that makes human existence to be quite interesting and comfortable are dilapidated, what do you want the common man to do? All right, it will obviously create an upsurge in insecurity. Right here in the studio, I actually have Mr. Lawal Ekundayo. Mr. Lawal Ekundayo, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm better. Yeah.
Mr. Lawal Ekundayo is a political and social affairs commentator. Obviously, Mr. Lawal Ekundayo will be giving us a little bit more insight into the conversation today.
The police have already spoken and they are already investigating. Before we know it, the governors are speaking as if they are the one investigating, and they have come up with their conclusion, and they are already telling us why. Are they the one to tell us what happened? There are two sides here now: the killed and the people who killed them.
Yes.
So we want an objective investigation that will tell us exactly what happened and what led to that. But no, before we knew it, the governors are already talking all over the place, and the adult governor, kind of. I mean, what attitude? What attitude? He left his state. No. And now, what are we seeing? As if we are at war. That's the way they make it look. They overblown it. Now, these are two sides. Let the security operatives come up with their investigation. That is all. The IG is the one that really supposed to speak. The moment the IG speak, that is all. What the governor is supposed to be saying is, let us maintain calm and then let them come up with their investigation. But they are all over the place and trying to trying to create as if we are in. These people went to attack them at where they were celebrating a birthday. They were found with arms. You get it? Nobody supported.
Arms, they were found with cash and a cup on some food items.
Yeah. So where were they coming from?
Cash?
These are questions.
They said when they asked the driver to come down, because they said they got a tip-off that the driver brought out a knife to attack the vigilante, and that was what even made them raise alarm. So it was when they raised alarm that obviously the mobs now decided to take matters into their hands.
And have they investigated the station close to that place? Because you look at what is happening in our area here. You see police checkpoint here, you see police checkpoint here, you see police checkpoint. And when you see gathering of people, what is the duty of the police? It's not to see what is going on there. And this didn't take place within 30 seconds. It didn't take place within 5 minutes. It didn't take place within 15 minutes. It must have taken hours before this thing happened. Where were the police?
Investigation they wanted to carry out with them when the mob now decided to take matters into their hands.
Let me give you a good example that's happening in this Oshodi Solo here. Local government here. This we know we have Mafuluku, we have Oshodi.
Yes.
Now let's look at Mafuluku for example. They have only one patrol vehicle. For the whole of Mafuluku, one patrol vehicle. That's the police station. In Makinde police station has only one patrol vehicle. Or how many? You get it? Now, normally you're supposed to have police at strategic locations shifting, not in the station. You're supposed to have them so that the moment they notice anything within 2-3 minutes, they are not there and they cannot handle it. What happens? They mobilize.
Okay.
That is what we call security and policing. You see community member people videoing it and sending it online. If you can see it online, why can't they see it online? These are questions now.
Thank you very much. Ara Oladotun Hassan, good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm really expecting to see you in the studio before we wrap up. How are you?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Program. Apologies for today's inconvenience as a result of
It's
the
not your
traffic in
fault.
Lagos.
It's
It's
actually
really
not your
terrible.
fault. Honestly, we already know Lagosians are complaining about the incident. Are you already close though? Have you been able to get to the third mainland bridge?
Well, I'm very far off, but we can go ahead to discuss.
You said what? You sound very
After-
low. All right.
Yes, I'm very far off now because the traffic is still very tense here.
So
but
where
let's
are
go
you
ahead
precisely
and
now?
discuss. I'm still at the same spot for 5 hours around the law school, so it's not it's
Wow.
at the front of Civic Center. for
Wow.
about
I was
6
like,
hours
okay, I
now.
think you should
Left
just
around
try and
6
find
a.m.
your way home because I don't think you'll be able to get here on time.
Yes,
So maybe
yes,
you're going to
but we
have to
can go
do
ahead.
a reverse because if you're still
Yes.
around law school, it's not something you'll be able to make up. Anyways, I would have loved you to be in the studio today. I really anticipated your coming because I needed you to give us a different perspective to what is being discussed within our social cultural landscape concerning this administration and their approach to governance, approach to the political situation, and obviously the aides of the president and some aides on the north as well. I mean, that federal character was not properly represented, and this is basically an observation across every other form of nomination that the president has been going on about. How would you react to this kind of observation on the president's appointment?
Those that are brought on the text might be within the oil and gas sector. The Ojulari has been in the shell,
Yes.
and they've had and gained experience. I know one thing about Ashwaju is about merit, but at the same time, we have to look at the body language of the people. I would have equally preferred a man from the Niger Delta to manage the NNPC, and let us see what will happen. It's not necessarily that no region as a day, let me tell you, no region as a day do not have an A-class person to manage. But at the same time, in as much as those that are coming in, I didn't see a name that quietly featured, even on the board of the NNPC chairmanship, whereby it will we have a change there too, and also in respect of the MDC of NNPC. So these are critical areas because for me, we cannot continue to sound as if we are not sensitive to the yearnings of this oil-producing community.
Okay.
And I don't know why things are like that. If president must, to me, I just believe that as the president of Yoruba Council Worldwide, where that pendulum ought to switch to, in order to pacify the good people of Niger Delta, also for them to quickly realize developmental plan, oil spillage. How are we going to solve all this problem? Now today, the dollar for petroleum now is now a confusion at the pump price. So why are we on this stage? So if NNPC is coming up with a firebrand, I expect a state of emergency to have been declared that within the next 24 hours, just like the way they declared the removal of the subsidy, and there was no
on that
to price.
day. On that
I
day,
expect
the president
that they should
admitted it was
declare
not on his speech
200
plan.
naira per liter by today. Maybe Nigerians will have a sigh of relief, but we are just living on the pendulum of pains of how much, and the country is wrecked with poverty.
All right,
You can't
all right.
even
Just hold on,
between the
because
rich and the
you
poor.
swerved from the first original question about the regionalization or federal character representation of the new reconstituted board of the NNPCL. Now, I need to set up a premise for the next question I want to ask you, because you're already going into the angle I want to actually get you to get to. The ruling All Progressives Congress eventually berated the candidate of the 2023 presidential elections of the Labour Party, and that's Peter Obi. Now, Peter Obi himself has actually disclosed, all right, that there is what you call an administrative failure to effectively implement economic policies, and he accused this administration of worsening Nigeria's financial situation. This was via an interview, he had last night. He talked about the move to float the naira, in the absence of increased productivity, and he pointed out that the administration had significantly increased Nigeria's debt profile and the cost of servicing the debt, which surpasses the budgetary allocations for critical sectors like health and education. He also criticized the administration for what he described as a lack of tangible economic improvements, noting that under his leadership, Nigeria would have witnessed drastic positive changes in just 2 years. Now, let us take ourselves back, maybe a weakness of the Buhari administration. He talked about the inability of the administration to tackle corruption. He talked about the inability of the administration to what you call the naira to dollar exchange rate. He also talked about widening the tax nets and reducing the purchasing power. He also leveraged, how he conducted Lagos as the governor and how he would implement some of the measures he implemented in Lagos at the federal level. Now, Reuben Abati, a one-time aide of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, said that there are witches and wizards, all right, at Aso Rock. The president himself had berated former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for his economic policy implementation and how he...
Side of the coin.
All right.
One side first goes to the media aid of the presidency, from Bayo Nonuga to Bawala. I don't think they sit before they go back to react to issues. Because the country is too sensitive for a media spokesperson of that to be in charge of communication, to just react, even if it is not Peter Obi. It can be any other citizen. Peter Obi should just be looked at like every other citizen, not as a president that is competing against another president within the office. But in terms of their chronic quick measures to quickly want to impress Mr. President, they make a lot of errors. And it's high time, Mr. President, take up the bull by the horn. Sometimes some of this hate destroy the presidency. From Jonathan era, Reuben Abati, they were always on the defensive. To Buhari, you see Lai Mohammed always on the defensive. Until they tell them that they failed as a government. Whereby you need to learn to be receptive to criticism. And even if you have to react, you need to first of all pacify the agony that the Nigerian populace are faced with. But now we are faced with a lot of crisscross of crises of insecurity, education, health. We are not too sure how 2027 election will be run. Exactly. Our fate is hanging in the balance. We need something to rejig our confidence as citizens of this country. And the only person that can do that is not Ba Wahala. Maybe the name Ba Wahala is just to create Wahala for president. I don't know why they would just go and make such curious statement, that is hanging on the hangover. But the fact that Peter Obi himself is always on criticism, it's good for opposition to criticize, but not to always want to impress as if you have the solution immediately like that. Jonathan promised solution. It is not as easy if we do not have the critical instrument of change that would deliberately cure our ailment. You know our ailment? Our ailment is the fact that we are laced on ethnic bigotry. We knew that already. No matter what anybody wants to tell me, this thing is laced on our heights. Political attrition. PDP will not see anything good about APC. Jonathan prayed and did all to bring about confirmed report, but there is being thrown to the dustbin. So there is no continuum in governance. We have lost it as a nation. We're only living on faith. We are living on an experimentation. So on how best for us to really get it right. I heard some of the statements from Peter Obi. Yes, they are excellent criticism. He raised some opinion. But how far can he himself implement all these things in the face of this crisis, political crisis? There's a difference between a leader having good intention. There's another difference from him able to implement those good intentions, considering the atmosphere we find ourselves.
Hassan, if you had listened to that interview, he sounded very confident and decisive on knowing what to do immediately. According to him, he said the first thing... Wait, hold on. He said the first thing he would have done was to set the ground running in fighting corruption. Now, I want you to recall, last year during the presidential media chat, I think one of the presenters that works with Channels Television asked him a major question about corruption. And the president's response was that they need to fight the cause of corruption, that it is poverty that makes people to get into corruption, that once you're able to handle poverty, then there'll be a reduction in corruption. And the next statement concerning that, because we're asking questions about the EFCC selective attention on certain cases when there is palpable evidence that points out to the corrupt activities of certain political bureaucrats. And the president navigated it in a very light-hearted way. Now, you would have expected that his core mandate would be to fight corruption, because that's one of the problems of, have been the problems of the APC since 2015. So the big question is, if you are confident and you know what to do as someone who is a president, you understand the challenges and you know what to do when you kick it off, why are you saying it's not easy? If you have what it takes, why are you saying it's not easy?
It's quite easy for every politician to raise their voices that they want to fight corruption. But regrettably, the corruption is living in every one of their home. The best way to fight corruption in this country, let me be explicit and be straightforward. It's not about carrying the wooded DSS, EFCC, and all that, because these institutions themselves, how clean are they to even fight the corruption we are talking about? So there is a lot of wreckage in the system. But one thing that will end corruption is when welfare of the people is taken as the primus inter pares. That means first among equals. When all Nigerians can deliberately say, yes, we are confident that we are citizens, we can go to work, we can do everything freely without any intimidation, that is when your citizenship is guaranteed.
Call back later, 080-3692-9933. That is the number. Hello, good evening to you. How are you?
Hello, sir.
How are you? Good evening.
I'm fine. I'm Edward calling from Tango.
Calling from where, sir?
Tango, Sango, Ogun State. Have many clean records from EFCC. He cannot compare with this record with this present government. This president we have now. And another thing here is that but all these recommendations, all these reforms our president has been doing now, is a reform that has come money from our ports, and is not returning that money to the citizens of this nation. That's why people are complaining. Had it been, he have another way of reimbursing the money into the economy, we cannot be complaining every day. So now, most people have given an account that they have traveled over at something times out of this country, but we never think of what we can do in this particular country. Look at this security, which is a major thing that is need to do.
Did you people connect anything to the office where they listen to masses? Yes, we need to learn how to come together and to see what we can do to make sure that these people does not see the opportunity to remain in power. But I want to remain in power. But I want to encourage Nigerians this night. I want to encourage Nigerians this night to know that I, evangelist, a man with vision, Peter Obi will be the president called 2027. You can quote me anywhere in the 7. You can quote me anywhere. But I am speaking with sure because I'm a man with But I am speaking with sure because I'm a man with vision.
Vision. All right. Vision. All right.
Peter Obi will be the president of Nigeria because last time he will be the president of Nigeria because last time he won it. You remember what time he won it? You remember what happened to Osun State when Adeleke won? What happened to Osun State when Adeleke won the first election? They cancel it. And the second, they cancel it. And the second term, he won. Second term, he won, and he become a governor. So this next term, and he become a governor. So this next term, this second Tinubu is running for power. He will not succeed. Tinubu is running for power. He will not succeed.
Evangelist, no, don't come there, please. Have you not? Don't come there, please. Have you not? Don't you understand the rules of it? Do you understand the rules of engagement here? Don't call and be campaigning and be campaigning for anybody. Please stop it. So any other caller that wants to do it, please don't do it. Please, all right? 08036 caller that wants to do it, please don't do it. Please, all right? 08036929933. That's the number for you to call, and the WhatsApp 1933. That's the number for you to call, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 Hello, good evening. 1756 Hello, good evening. How are you? How are you?
Hello.
Yes, hello, good evening.
I'm cool.
What's your name?
Everyone know?
Yes, hello, good evening.
I'm cool.
What's your name?
Everyone there, whether they cool. My
Yes,
name is
sir.
Afonwa Dama.
Afonwa, what I did good today. Go ahead, Afonwa.
I don't have much to say. What I'm trying to talk is about what happened for Edo State. It's a shame for our security perspective. It's a shame to them. When somebody carry AK-47, they carry money inside the motor to carry AK-47. Esther, do you know how much they sell one AK-47?
You know? I don't go buy. I don't know.
AK-47, if you want to Google them last, it's almost 6 million naira.
For one?
The price. For, yeah, see you. That's why we call them shoot and run. now what would they use that time? Where would they do hunter? For village? I will not do hunter. Nothing what I don't do for village. I no thief. I never thief. But not.
Go on social media too. Imagine if it was somebody from southwest or southeast or south have done that. That is why I'm telling you. See, we are not united sincerely. It is by I don't know how to. We are not deeply rooted as a united nation. We are just on experimenting. And how do we cure this nonsense? One, the security personnel need to be thoroughly screened and check who is willing to be a
The next thing that I want to say is this. In Edo State, governor of Edo State, he went to Kanu to go and apologize that this and that. That man, that the same governor, is he not seeing other people that all those herdsmen killed?
Killing.
What did he do? Have they apprehended anybody? All those herdsmen. Now you give security this thing to arrest Edo people, Uromi people. That they are pointing out, this is the people that kill the people, this is the people that. What of the one, the herdsmen, they are killing people, killing farmers, killing everybody, sending the whole village ablaze? What is going on? What are we talking about?
Hello, good evening. How are you? Thank you for waiting.
Hello, Esther. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I agree the house. This is Mazi Douglas.
All right,
Person from Lume.
From Lume. How is Lume today?
Yeah, I'm well cool, but I learned that there's a little rain there from Afunwa say there's a cool. So there's rain there over there.
Yes, it rained today. It rained today.
Yes, Esther, I thank all people that have make their own input this evening, especially one of your guests there that mentioned about Emefele, because I always cry.
Yes.
Emefele have a master, he have a boss. Why only him are suffering there? Because he's from this side. Secondly, I thank God one of my friends say he's a hunter. My father is a hunter. What my father used to be before, when we were kids, single barrel. When I grow up, I make little money when I'm in Abidjan. I came back. I bought double barrel for him. But do you remember?
It was terrible. They even killed one woman. We saw it on video. They sent it. So the thing is getting out of hand, and people are not doing anything about it. The government is not doing anything about it. It will reach where it will reach. Everybody will get angry, and food is full everywhere. It will look as if it's a different thing entirely. Could you believe today a man was picking rice that fell on the ground and was eating it? I can't believe that. That's the extent of the hunger in the country. Good night. God bless you.
Good night. Good.
Gabriel.
All right, Gabriel. What's your location?
Let it go. Because of everybody's hunger, you see everybody being angry. That is what is happening today. So, in that case, I am pleading to the government.
Yes,
if
sir.
they are hearing what we are saying, let them find a way to make sure that we eat so that we will not die of hunger. Please, I am pleading to the government in power.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. For himself and our nation wealth to foreign banks. May God save us. Akinero Kingsley Oh well, Akinro Kingsley, I doubt that will be the case. We're hoping that the process will be transparent in his appointment. Good evening, Esther, and and our honorable guests and VOP family. Happy New Month to all of us. This is Babiji from Ushidi. Esther, concerning Edo killings, please, why on earth should a group of armed men with sophisticated weapons that are more powerful than the Nigerian military travel all the way from northern Nigeria, where there are no forests, bushes down to the south Nigeria just to hunt? Unless there's something they're not telling Nigerians. I mean, how sure are Nigerians to believe that they're really what they claim? Was their mission really to hunt animals or humans? Let's set aside tribalism and ethnicity here and let truth be said. There's a difference between missions and visions. Tinubu has missions to come and do what he knows how to do better, but Peter Obi has a lot of vision to correct a lot of wrongs, killing, destroy Nigeria and Nigerians day by day. What's your name? Okay, Babeji from Oshodi. Good evening. Please send me the mobile line to call 080-3692-9933. All right, 080-3692-9933. Where in the world have anybody heard that their president stayed 2 weeks in another country to woo investors? Chai, Nigerians have entered one chance. Joe from Berga. Esther, where is light for investors to come? Mr. President, where are you taking us to? Joe from Berga. Good evening to everyone in the studio. Honestly, Nigerians should not relent in any strategy that will send this fictitious and unscrupulous junta away in 2027 general elections. APC is just a fluke, no substance upstairs. Thank you very much. My name is Olamide from Ajasa Command. Mary from Okafa, let the government pass a bill to stop our people of other regions. Even worse, the army seem to be the lead and backup singers for the northern warmongers. Tale. Esther, all right, okay, thank you very much for your message. I sincerely do appreciate your compliment. All right, thank you very much. Good evening, great analyst. I am enjoying your program, and I just want to appreciate you for the good work and what your team are doing. Idol Razak Abraham from Igbubo Ikorodu. I'll reserve my comment for another beautiful day. Thank you.